The observation hall was full of people. Bright lights reflected from glass walls. Screens showed numbers, warnings, and red error signs. Inside the massive containment chamber stood Earth's most expensive dream. The Dragon. It was huge, tall as a building floor. Its body was covered in dull silver scales. Metal restraints held its wings, legs, and tail. Energy fields shimmered around it. For years, Earth's top scientists had worked on this project. They called it the future of planetary defense. A living weapon. A symbol of human progress. But now, the room was filled with laughter. "So this is the result," one scientist said, shaking his head. "A dragon that cannot even follow basic commands." Another laughed loudly. Earth's greatest prototype, reduced to a science joke. On the main screen, a large message blinked. Project status. Failed. The dragon did not move. It did not roar or struggle. It simply stood there, watching them. Its eyes were calm. Too calm. Dr. Elena Moore stood near the back of the hall. She was younger than most of the others. Her face showed no smile. Only concern. "They are wrong," she said quietly. No one reacted. The lead director turned toward her, clearly annoyed. "Elena, we gave this thing every advantage. It failed every combat test." "It adapts," Elena replied. "It learns patterns, language, and behavior faster than expected." The room erupted in laughter again. "Listen to her," someone mocked. "She thinks the dragon has feelings." Elena clenched her fists. "This is not just a machine," she said. "It understands us." The director waved his hand. "Enough, the council has already decided." The dragon slowly turned its head. Its massive eyes locked onto Elena. For a brief moment, the noise of the room faded. Elena felt a strange pressure in her chest. As if the creature was truly looking at her. Not as a scientist, but as a person. The meeting ended quickly. The project was officially terminated. The dragon was labeled unstable and dangerous. Orders were signed for dismantling. Elena was summoned to a private office soon after. The director sat behind a large desk, his expression cold. "You crossed the line today," he said. "You defended the prototype against direct orders." "I defended what we created," Elena replied. "We never tried to understand it." "That is not your job," he snapped. "This facility runs on logic, not sympathy." A long silence followed. "You are dismissed," the director said. "Effective immediately." Just like that, her career ended. Elena walked through the long metal corridors, carrying a small box of her belongings. The sounds of machines echoed around her. She stopped near the containment chamber one last time. The dragon was still there, standing alone, surrounded by guards and machines. "I am sorry," she whispered softly. "I failed you." The dragon moved. Slowly, carefully, it lowered its head. Chains rattled softly as it did. Then, in a deep and steady voice, it spoke. "You did not fail." Elena froze. Her heart began to race. Dragons were not supposed to speak freely. That feature had never been approved. Before she could respond, alarms sounded in the distance. Guards rushed closer. The dragon lifted its head again, its eyes glowing faintly. "You saw me," it said calmly. Elena stepped back, shocked. As she was escorted out of the facility, one thought echoed in her mind. Earth had laughed at its own creation. They believed it was a failed prototype. But they had no idea. The dragon was never Earth's experiment. And the woman they fired was the first human to pass its test. Elena stood outside the facility gates. Cold wind moved through the empty road. Behind her, the world's most secret project continued without her. She was no longer a scientist of Earth's elite program. She was just a woman with questions. Her job was gone. Her future felt uncertain. But her mind was still trapped inside those walls. The dragon's voice echoed in her memory. "You saw me." Elena stopped walking. Her hands trembled slightly. That was impossible. The dragon was not designed to speak on its own. And yet, it had spoken clearly, calmly, and with meaning. Back inside the facility, panic had replaced laughter. The council members gathered again, this time with serious faces. The prototype spoke, one of them said. That was not in the design. Another added, if it can speak freely, it can think freely. The decision came quickly. The dragon will be dismantled before anything worse happens. No one argued. The dragon stood alone in its chamber. Guards watched closely. Machines powered up around it. It remained silent, but its eyes showed awareness. It was waiting. Elena, meanwhile, sat in her small apartment. Lights off. Her belongings still packed in boxes. She tried to distract herself. But her thoughts kept returning to the dragon. They had laughed at it, rejected it, condemned it without trying to understand it. She opened her tablet and checked the news. Nothing about the dragon. Nothing about the project. It was as if it never existed. Elena stood up suddenly. I cannot leave it, she said to herself. Late that night, she returned to the facility, using an old access code that still worked. Security systems recognized her clearance for just a few seconds. Enough time. Inside, the corridors were quiet. Emergency lights glowed dimly. She reached the containment chamber, her heart pounding with every step. The dragon turned its head as she entered. It recognized her instantly. You came back, it said softly. I had no choice, Elena replied. They are going to destroy you. The dragon lowered its head slightly. They are afraid, it said. They do not understand what they see. Elena moved closer to the control panel, hands shaking as she disabled several restraints. Why did you speak to me? She asked. You knew it would cause trouble. The dragon's eyes glowed faintly. Because you listened, it answered. You showed respect when others showed fear. Alarms suddenly began to sound. Red lights filled the chamber. They know I am here, Elena whispered. Guards' voices echoed through the halls. Footsteps grew closer. The dragon shifted its massive body. Chains snapped and fell to the floor. Leave, it said firmly. You have already done enough. Elena hesitated. I am not abandoning you. The dragon looked at her with something close to warmth. You already chose, it said. Compassion over safety. A hidden door behind the chamber opened slowly. A passage Elena had never seen before. Go, the dragon said. Your choice matters more than you know. Elena ran. As she disappeared into the passage, the dragon stood tall and free for the first time. It looked up toward the ceiling, toward the stars beyond Earth. The test had begun, and humanity had taken its first real step. Elena ran through the dark passage, her breath heavy, her heart beating fast. The hidden corridor was smooth and old, not made by modern human technology. Soft blue symbols glowed on the walls as she passed. Behind her, the sound of alarms faded. Ahead of her, silence waited. She finally stopped when the tunnel opened into a wide chamber. The ceiling was high. The walls curved like a dome. And the dragon was already there. Free. Unchained. Standing tall without restraints. Elena stared in disbelief. You did not use the door, she said quietly. I did not need to, the dragon replied calmly. Its voice was no longer slow or unsure. Now it was clear, controlled, and powerful. Elena felt a chill run through her body. You are not a prototype, she said. Are you? The dragon lowered its head slightly. No, it answered. I was never meant to be one. Elena took a step back. Then what are you? The dragon's eyes glowed brighter, reflecting stars that were not visible from Earth. I am a diplomatic observer, it said. A representative of a coalition far older than your world. Elena struggled to understand. You let them laugh at you, she said. You let them call you a failure. Yes, the dragon replied. Because that was the test. The air felt heavier. Earth was not being judged for power, the dragon continued, or weapons, or intelligence. It was being judged for empathy. Elena's mind raced. All of this, she whispered. The project, the funding, the tests, were your creation, the dragon said. But the opportunity was ours. It explained slowly, so she could understand. Humanity had reached a point where it could no longer stay hidden. Other civilizations had noticed Earth's growth, its conflicts, its potential. Before contact could be made, Earth had to be evaluated. So you came as something we would control, Elena said. As a weapon. Yes, the dragon replied. You see dragons as symbols of fear and power. We used that image. Elena clenched her fists. And they failed. They failed, the dragon agreed. But not all humans. It looked directly at her. You spoke for me when it cost you everything, it said. You did not know who I was. You did not expect a reward. Elena felt tears in her eyes. They fired me, she said. They destroyed my life. The dragon's voice softened. They revealed it. She looked up, confused. They revealed who you are, the dragon continued. When power was taken from you, compassion remained. The chamber began to glow softly. Holographic images appeared in the air. Stars. Worlds. Massive fleets. Elena Moore, the dragon said. Your species stands at a crossroads. What happens now? She asked quietly. That depends on what your leaders choose, the dragon replied. And on what you choose. Suddenly, a distant vibration shook the chamber. Not an explosion. Something far greater. The dragon turned its gaze upward. They are arriving, it said. Elena felt her knees weaken. Who? The observers, the dragon answered. The ones who will decide Earth's future. Above the planet, far beyond human sight, something ancient and powerful was moving. And for the first time in history, humanity was no longer alone. Above Earth's blue sky, something changed. Satellites stopped responding. Long-range scanners showed shapes that did not belong to any human design. At first, the leaders thought it was an error. Then another screen lit up. Then another. Massive objects were entering Earth's orbit. Not one. Not two. But dozens. Inside the Global Command Center, panic spread quickly. Military officers shouted orders. Scientists stared at the data in silence. These ships are not hostile, one analyst said, confused. They are holding position. The world's leaders were rushed into emergency meetings. Voices overlapped. Fear replaced confidence. Is this connected to the Dragon Project? Someone asked. Silence followed. Back beneath the facility, Elena stood beside the dragon. The chamber glowed brighter as energy filled the air. They are here, Elena said quietly. And humanity is not ready. They are never ready, the dragon replied calmly. That is why the test exists. On the surface, emergency broadcasts reached every major city. People looked up at the sky. Strange lights moved silently above the clouds. No explosions. No attacks. Just presence. The lead director who had fired Elena watched the sky from behind reinforced glass. His face pale. His hands shaking. We laughed, he whispered. We laughed at them. A sudden flash filled the sky. A single vessel separated from the others and descended slowly. Not aggressive. Not hidden. It wanted to be seen. Back in the chamber, the dragon straightened its posture. Its form began to change. Scales shimmered with living light. Energy patterns moved across its body. Elena stepped back in awe. This disguise is no longer needed, the dragon said. Its restraints, once built to control it, melted away like mist. Its presence felt heavier, stronger. On every screen across the world, the image changed. The dragon appeared, not as a failed prototype, but as something ancient and commanding. Gasps filled control rooms and living rooms alike. "This is the being we mocked," one official said in horror. The dragon's voice echoed through every broadcast channel. Calm, deep, and impossible to ignore. "People of Earth," it said. "You created a test and believed you controlled it." Images of the laboratory appeared. The laughter, the mockery, the rejection. "You judged value by obedience," the dragon continued. "By usefulness, by power." The director lowered his head in shame. "But one among you chose differently." The image shifted to Elena, standing alone beside the dragon earlier, defending it, losing everything for it. She saw a being, not a tool, the dragon said. She chose empathy when it cost her everything. World leaders exchanged uneasy looks. Elena felt the weight of billions of eyes upon her. "You fired her," the dragon said. "But you revealed yourselves." The descending alien vessel stopped above the capital cities, its presence silent and overwhelming. "The observers have seen enough," the dragon announced. "Your fate is no longer hidden behind walls and titles." The laughter that once filled the lab was gone, replaced by fear, regret, and realization. Humanity had not been judged for its strength, but for its heart. And now, the galaxy was watching. Silence spread across Earth. Not the silence of fear, but the silence of waiting. Above the planet, the alien fleet held its position. No weapons activated. No threats spoken. The dragon stood tall, its true form glowing with calm power. Elena remained beside it, small compared to its size, yet unafraid. The dragon raised its head slightly, and the stars behind it seemed to listen. "Observers," the dragon said, "you have seen Earth's strength and its weakness." The massive ships responded, not with words, but with light. Soft signals passing between them. Elena felt a strange warmth, as if something heavy was lifting from her chest. The dragon continued. "Humanity is flawed. It fears what it does not understand. It laughs when it feels superior." Images appeared across the sky. Scenes of war, conflict, mistakes. World leaders watched in shame. Civilians watched in silence. "But humanity is also capable of choice," the dragon said. "When power was offered, many chose control. When compassion was tested, one human chose sacrifice." The image focused on Elena again. Not as a hero, not as a symbol, but as a simple human being. She had no authority, the dragon said. No protection. No promise of reward. Yet she acted. A gentle pulse moved through the alien fleet. The observers had decided. A new voice filled the sky, deep and ancient. Not the dragon's, but something greater. "Earth has been evaluated," the voice said. "Judgment complete." Every human heart seemed to pause. "Elena Moore," the voice continued. "Step forward." Elena hesitated, then took one slow step ahead. She felt fear, but she did not turn away. "You represent what your species can become," the voice said. "Not because you are perfect, but because you chose empathy without command." The dragon lowered its head in respect. "Earth will not be isolated," the voice announced. "Nor will it be punished." A wave of relief swept across the planet. "Instead," the voice continued, "Earth will be invited." Gasps echoed everywhere. Invited into the wider community. Guided, observed, and challenged. The alien fleet slowly shifted position. Not retreating, but aligning with Earth's orbit. The dragon turned to Elena. "Your people will stumble," it said softly. "They will make mistakes." Elena nodded. "I know. But now," the dragon continued, "they will not stumble alone." On Earth, leaders stood before cameras. No speeches prepared. No excuses left. For the first time, humanity was not pretending to be strong. It was being honest. Elena was offered her position back. Then offered power. then offered titles. She refused them all. "I only did what was right," she said. "That should not be special." The dragon smiled in a way only it could. "That," it said, "is why it matters." As the stars above Earth shone brighter than ever before, one truth became clear. Humanity was not chosen because it was the strongest, or the smartest, or the most advanced. Humanity was chosen because, even when it laughed, even when it failed, it could still choose compassion. And that choice echoed across the galaxy.